On this edition of Visionaries, we travel to Washington, D.C. to sit down with Emilio Iasiello and talk about the highly debated topic, cyber war. Emilio has more than 12 years of experience as a counterintelligence analyst working in both government civilian and military agencies. So Emilio suggested we meet in one of DC's most overlooked landmarks. You're not going to find this in your travel guide. Actually, took a little bit of social engineering just to get my crew in.
So Emilio, I finally found you. This is honestly the first time I've had to meet somebody in a parking garage. After much negotiation, there you are at Pillar 32. So where are we?
This is the most famous parking garage there is in the United States. If you're familiar with Watergate, this is where Deep Throat met Woodward. Early next year, this will all be destroyed, so it's a limited historical monument.
Oh, amazing. I gotta tell you, this monument's a little underwhelming. So they've got a lot of tape on this thing. Nice sans serif print. So we're standing here in the Deep Throat garage, next to the entrance to the Morlocks from Time Machine. What better place to talk about big data analytics? How important do you think big data security analytics is going to be when addressing cyber war in the future?
Well, big data analytics can be very important in that, in order to get a kind of a totality look of the threat space. But perhaps even more importantly is going to be the tools and technologies that are going to help us make that big data into meaningful data.
And what types of technology do you think we're going to need? We've had this approach in security for a while that was very much preventative controls, blacklisting, signatures, basic pattern matching, etc. What do we need now? What are the new tools we need for this new war?
Well, I'll tell you, the new technologies that I'm excited about are things like behavioral analytics, artificial intelligence and machine learning, as well as identity correlation, the kind of solutions that Securonix supplies.
So how many countries do have a cyber capability tied to their military?
About 30 have some sort of dedicated military and intelligence capability focused on offensive operations. About 50 more have purchased commercial off-the-shelf technologies to be used in this endeavor as well. And about 60 more have some sort of domestic or international surveillance capability.
So does cyber level the playing field when it comes to countries that might not have traditional military might?
It certainly narrows the gap. Some countries do not necessarily have the capabilities to build modern, advanced militaries. Well, cyber is an economic alternative to this. It also power projects and can go across the globe. So whereas sustaining conventional military capabilities or weaponry is expensive, cyber is not, and it can potentially achieve the same types of objectives.
Well, is a cyber attack an act of war? And if so, should the government respond proportionally?
Government should respond in any way that they feel necessary, and that includes diplomatically, economically, and certainly militarily. However, if a kinetic strike is going to be used, proportionality has to be considered.
Emilio said it best. Topics like proportionality need to be considered, but cyber is evolving so quickly, we're not even sure who should run it. In fact, Defense Secretary Ashton Carter even stated that he's unsure if cyber is going to become a new branch of the military, much like the Air Force did, or stay largely civilian.
So Emilio, we're standing here at the Air Force Memorial. We have Arlington Cemetery, we have the Pentagon. In the distance here, I see the Washington Monument and even the Capitol building. And I start thinking about the domains of warfare: land, sea, air, and space. And is cyber truly a new domain of war, or just a supporting capability for all those other domains?
Cyber is definitely a new domain of warfare. Certainly the Pentagon thinks so, and we're seeing other militaries follow suit with this line of thinking. Remember, cyber is man-made, so it's subject to alteration and change as it evolves over time. But that said, Brian, cyber is an important support mechanism for military operations in the other domains, particularly with command and control, logistics, and communications.
So in terms of prevention, detection, and response, there's so much conversation around prevention. What's your perspective when it comes to cyber war?
Well, Brian, I think detection and response are the utmost importance for organizations now. Hostile actors have demonstrated the ability to get inside any network, regardless if it's public, private, and across all industries. Those organizations that are best able to develop, implement, and test contingency plans for disaster recovery or incident response are going to be the ones that are going to be better off down the line.
It's almost like what Charles Darwin said, that the most adaptive of the species is going to be the most successful.
Well, exactly.
I'd like to thank Emilio for joining us on this edition of Visionaries. Here's the recap. Nation states are increasing their cyber capabilities. As such, we need to focus not just on incident prevention, but detection and response. And to that goal, solutions like behavioral analytics, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and identity correlation are key. And big data security analytics plays a critical role in turning big data into meaningful intelligence. I hope you enjoyed this edition of Visionaries, brought to you by Securonix.